Hello guys, I am Marco Fallen Sanctuary and this is Via Notturna.
So, hi Marco, how are you? Everything fine?
Everything is fine, all good, and yes, we are very excited about the new album, about the first feedback, so we are very excited in general.
And it has just been released. How have the reactions been until now?
Honestly, so far, it's great. We receive fantastic big feedback, basically from every country, and it's cool. But especially in Germany, because we reached the charts, the German charts in general, not only about rock and metal, but in general. And honestly, it's my first time. I never reached the charts with my other bands, so yes, we are very happy about that, especially for a new band, for a new album, a debut album. It's not very common nowadays, but yes, very cool.
And it was also released today in Japan, right?
Yes, today. Exactly today. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. The first reaction also from Japan are quite good. I did some interviews from some magazine for Young Guitars and stuff like that, and the reviews on Young Guitar and Burn, the most popular magazine, are quite good. So let's see about the feedback from the Japanese fans, and hopefully we will be able to reach Japan as soon as possible.
And so this isn't like Fallen Sanctuary isn't one album project. You are planning on keep on making music in the future.
Sorry.
You are in the future.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
You see, because sometimes when two renowned musicians as you and Jörg are, sometimes it's just one album for fun, but you're gonna to keep on going.
Sure. First of all, for sure, we did this album for fun because we are very good friends and we are fans of this kind of music. And in the past, we never had the chance to do something like this because in our other bands, the kind of music is a little bit different. For sure, we used to write and sing some melodic stuff, melodic metal, but it's quite difficult because for Temperance, for example, my other band, we used to play some maybe much more modern stuff, and we are in three singers, so there are a lot of influence there. As in Fallen Sanctuary, some AR stuff, rock stuff, but not a lot of power metal. In Fallen Sanctuary, we decided from the very first moment to put some power metal there because basically we are big fans of the 90s power metals or early 2000 power metal. And for sure, we'll do another album in the future, more albums, not only one, but more albums. And we'll try to play as much as we can in over all Europe, and when it will be possible again, over all the world, if the feedback will be good, for sure.
And it should be, because it's an amazing album. In my opinion, it's one of the best this year.
Thank you so much.
And Fallen Sanctuary is a project, as I said, created by you and by Jörg Neuhauser from Serenity. How did you two meet?
We met each other the very first time years ago during an Italian show of Serenity, and after that we were in touch for a few years, and then we did a couple of tours together in Europe with Temperance and Serenity. So especially during the first tour, we spent basically every night together in the nightliner, in the tour bus, I mean, just talking about the music we like more, our influences, our lives in general. And back then we create this big friendship between us. And Georg asked me to co-write some stuff with him for the latest Serenity album called The Last Night. And I think we wrote 4 or 5 tracks for that album. And also there, the feedback was quite good. So we decided to, we promised each other to do something, maybe a new band in the future, something like that. And for sure, during March, April 2020, during the COVID situation, we found the right time to do this stuff. We did a couple of calls, and we said, okay, this is the time to do this band, because we have enough time now. Usually we are such busy guys because of our bands, studio albums, time to record the album, promote the album, play a lot of gigs everywhere. But we said, okay, this is the right time to do it. And yes, and we manage it, and I think the final result is good, and we decide to go on for sure. Now we are promoting the first album, so I have no clue about the release of the second one, but I'm pretty sure it will be very soon.
And it's curious because besides being the name of this project, Fallen Sanctuary is also the name of the second album from Serenity. Is there any connection?
Sure. We decided from the very first moment to create a sort of connection between the past of Georg and Serenity, for sure, and the future of us, and the present and the future of us together. So we thought it was a good connection, also to catch the attention of the Serenity fans, because basically Fallen Sanctuary is probably the most selling wise, it's the most popular album of Serenity, and honestly it's one of my favorite too. And it was released a lot of years ago, but still one of my favorite. And just to push this sort of connection, we decided to collaborate with this Brazilian guy called Gustavo Satzes, and he was the artist who did in the past the cover for Fallen Sanctuary album, the album of Serenity, I mean, and now he did the cover art for Terranova.
There's a lot of hidden Easter eggs in this.
A lot.
And you both sing in this album. How do you split the vocal duties?
Honestly, during the songwriting session, we said, okay, maybe in this track would be better if you will sing this part, if I will sing this part, and etc. But then we stayed together in the studio to record all vocals, all choirs for some days, and directly in the studio, as I used to do with Temperance, we tried different kind of stuff and different kind of approach to record some vocals here and there. And for some tracks, we change the way to split a song. Basically, in every song, we are both lead singers of the band. But yes, depends by the songs. I'm pretty sure that for some stuff like Camelot stuff, or something in the lower range, or something in very theatrical way, Georg is better than me. But if we have to push the high notes and to use a sort of rangy vocals, I think I could manage something better.
Yeah, for sure. Just one thing I remember now. You said you met Jorg in one show from Serenity. Could that show belong to the tour of Fallen Sanctuary? The album?
No, because it was.
Okay.
I think it was.
Would be funny. Yeah.
Could be a very cool thing, but it was, I think, 5 or 6 years ago, something like that.
And as you said, you were in Temperance. You also you also split the vocals with other singers. And in a lot of bands that you sing, you split the vocals. Why did you do that? It's like you prefer it that way?
I don't know, but honestly, with Temperance, it's a very cool thing, because we used to work like this. Also because we have, it's pretty much the same with Georg and me. We have a different approach to sing, and the thing is, everyone in Temperance have some very cool skills. For example, Alessia, she she is born to sing something very rock and more than Michele and me. But at the same time, Michele, basically like Georg, is more theatrical than me. And for every song, we used to stay in the same room in the studio together, Alessia, Michele, and me, just record all vocals and to check different chances for every song. And I think this is the good thing of Temperance in general.
And it creates very good dynamics in the song, and it's a thing that I really enjoy.
Exactly. Yeah. This is the point, because I think with different kind of voices, we are able to create something different. Because probably if I will sing for the entire album, yes, probably there will be some dynamics too, but it will be different. If you will sing 3 different singers in the entire album, I think you will appreciate more every single step of the song.
That's right, Ando. You also made last year album. I think you also wrote the songs of Wonders, Fragments of Wonder, and it was also an amazing record. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, and now moving again to Fallen Sanctuary, how did you pick the rest of the members?
Honestly, when we began to talk about the other members, the first name about the drummer was Alfonso, because Alfonso is one of my best friends, and for sure we did the tour together with Temperance and Serenity with Alfonso on drums. So when I suggest Alfonso, Georg told me, okay, it was my first choice, so perfect. And about Gabriele, I know Gabriele from, I think, 10 years at least. Is a good friend of mine, and is such a great singer. Honestly, right now is one of my favorite singer from Italy, and it is also able to play bass, and this is the good thing, because we said, okay, in the album we have a lot of choirs, and we have to replace these also during the live shows, because honestly, I'm not a big fan of the samples with the backing vocals. I don't like this kind of thing, honestly. I can imagine that sometimes you need to use it for some bands, because maybe you have only one singer and it's pretty much impossible to try to replace the other backing vocals, backing singers. But for us, it's different. This is the reason we choose Gabriele, because he's a fantastic singer, such a good person, and with him in the band, we are able to sing every chorus in harmony, in complete harmony, in three singers. So very cool.
Can we expect to see Gabriele singing his own like lead singer parts in next albums of Fallen Sanctuary?
Could be. Honestly, for this album, we had no plan at all. So we record all choirs by ourselves, only Georg and me, honestly. Tons of layers of choirs. Yes, but for the next album, could be for sure. He will record some choirs with me and Georg, and let's see. Maybe we will push him to record some lead stuff too.
I'm looking forward to that. What about the composition process to this album? How did it went?
Basically, we spent some months from the very first days of the band till the summer 2020, I think, just to write everything, try to do some different arrangement, try to change something, change the key of every song, the tempo, the time of every song, and it was very cool, because for sure during March, April 2020, there was no chance at all to go out of your place, but especially there was no chance at all to go out of your country. And Georg is still living in Austria, and I live in Italy. So we had a very cool process, because he used to send me some ideas on WhatsApp on my phone, and some ideas for some chorus or some introduction of some song. And after that, I used to say, okay, I will try to create the rest of the song. I will send you the song back, and you will let me know if we have to change something or not. Also the key, because maybe it's too low or it's too high to sing. And basically this was the process of the album. And I think we wrote, I don't know, 20 songs, and we choose the best 10 plus 2 or 3 songs for the as bonus track. And yes, it was very cool. Also because in this way we are able to choose only the best.
And what about those other songs? Are you planning on rearranging them and maybe releasing them in another album, or like small EP?
No, I don't think so. Usually, as I used to do with Temperance, if one song is not in the album, I will not use this one.
If it's not good enough for this one, won't be good enough for any other record.
Exactly. Also because we are already writing some other stuff, and if we have to choose something we wrote 2 years ago, maybe it's already too old for our ears.
Because your likings are always evolving as well.
Exactly.
And what about Gabriele and Alfonso? They didn't have any chance to participate in the composition process, right? Was just both of you?
Yes, we wrote this album only, Georg and me, basically. For sure, Alf and me, we arranged the drums parts because I'm not the drummer at all. But I used to send him some stuff with a drum machine, some stuff like that, and we arranged the parts. For this album, I record the bass guitar too, because back then when we record the instrumental parts, we didn't decide yet about Gabriele, because we said, okay, we have to record the album and then we will see about the bass player. But maybe for the next album, could be. Who knows?
Could be. Maybe if it works for you. If it doesn't, there's no need for it. Yeah.
Sure.
And it's funny because this album has also a very close connection to acoustic songs, because you have I Can Stay and Wait for Me, that are like basic, but not basic, but emotionally beautiful ballads. And also you made some acoustic versions for your singles for Terranova that you release on your YouTube channel.
Oh yes, right.
Are you planning on releasing any acoustic album or like a version of those songs in a record?
Maybe we will do something like that as bonus tracks in the future, but who knows? But we really love this kind of introspective versions and acoustic versions. Also because before to release the album, just to support the album, we did a sort of crowdfunding campaign to support the band, because it was the first days of the band, and back then we had no clue about the reaction of some labels and also the reaction from people in general. So we sold tons of private acoustic shows in Europe, and we already play some private show, and we'll play more during this next year in the acoustic way. So we'll play for sure Terranova, Broken Dreams, Now and Forever, probably I Can Stay, some stuff like that in the acoustic version. So could be a good idea, in my opinion, if we release something in the future as bonus tracks.
Now that you mention bonus tracks, this album also includes some instrumental versions of some songs.
Yes.
How did you have this idea?
Honestly, the idea was not mine from Georg, but it was by Jan, the guy who mixed the album, because he said, guys, I think the album is very cool, and there are a lot of layers, not only about the vocals, but also about the music, because I think I record, I don't know, for every song I record tons of guitars. We put a lot of different stuff of orchestral stuff, not in every song, but in some tracks there are tons of stuff. And the diehard fans can go through this sort of instrumental version and hear some stuff that it's quite impossible try to hear if you will add also the all vocals. And also because they said could be a good idea if some singers want to do some cover, something like that.
It's definitely a good idea, because sometimes, yeah, it's like you said, we can listen to other layers that you haven't before, and stuff like that. And you also mentioned in the other answer the crowdfunding campaign you did. Every single hero that you got on that crowdfunding campaign went directly to the production and promotion of Terranova, right?
Sure, exactly. Also because when you create the band, we said, okay, let's write the album, let's record the album, and then we said, okay, we have tons of cost, especially nowadays, and but who knows about the reaction of the people? Maybe no one will like this band. Just kidding, for sure. And we asked, honestly, not only for the money, but in general, we ask this kind of help also to see the reaction and to see the feedback from the people. And I think in 1 or 2 days, we reached 100% of the campaign. At the end of the campaign, it was something like 200% of the crowdfunding campaign. It was fantastic. And back then, really, we had no deal with any label, but for sure, after this good feedback, we received some different proposals. And from the very first time, the guys of AFM was very into this band, into our kind of music, because they used to work with power metal in general, and they are big fans of our work with Temperance Serenity, and they are big fans of the album. So it was very cool. And yes, basically we used the entire budget just to promote the band. This is the reason why we did 4 videos, because we released 3 videos so far, but there will be another video at the end of this month.
And it's going to be to the top, right? I think I saw that somewhere. Yeah. Now, moving on to the lyrical aspect of the album, what does Terranova talk about in general?
Different kind of topics. Basically, we decide to not use the same topics of Serenity and Temperance, because for Serenity, Georg used to talk about historical stuff, and with Temperance, we used to talk about space, future, but also different kind of stuff. For this album, for Fallen Century in general, we decided to do something different. So to talk about our lives, some personal stuff. For example, for to the top is a sort of hymn to the to believe in yourself, to push everything to the limits, to believe in your dreams, something like that. It's a very positive song. But for example, the title track of the album is about the addiction, and we never talk about this in our career. I think everyone in the world have some friends or some friends of our friends with problem with addiction. I mean, not only drugs, because a lot of people say that, but with Fallen Century, you talk about drugs, but it's not only drugs, because addiction could be everything. Could be maybe food for someone, but could be alcohol, could be for sure drugs, but also addiction to the social network, to everything. Basically, you can addicted by everything. And I think Georg did a fantastic job on the title track, because it's a good way to describe this sort of addiction. For example, in the chorus, he said, "Terranova saved my mind, help me to survive." This is the way how an addiction is working.
Terranova stands for every drug addiction.
Yes, not only drug, but addiction.
Yeah, every addiction, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was going to ask about your vocal performance. If you had adopt another technique to this album.
I don't know, because for every album I did, I'm trying to do something different and something better, just to push my limits and to learn something from every album, because I think every album is a sort of just a little part of our journey, is a new way to cross our path in general. So I don't know, probably in this album I push my clean stuff, because with Temperance I used to use a raspy voice, especially in the high parts, but in this album, in the traditional power metal, I push my clean voices. And yes, we use my typical approach about choirs, about the harmonies. And yes, but every album, not only Terranova, probably the next one too, will be a way to learn something different, something new.
It always is. And besides singing, you also play the guitar. Is it hard for you when playing live, to do both?
Honestly, we just did some shows to promote the album, and there are a couple of tracks quite difficult for me. I mean, to sing and to play at the same time. Also because I have to focus on the choirs, but I have to focus on the change of the tune, something like that. And there are 2 or 3 tracks quite difficult to play and sing at the same time. But I think we only need to do shows and improve our skills.
Yeah, and with time it will probably become more like a routine and stuff. Yeah.
Sure.
And it's also probably made it harder for you, because in some of these release shows you cannot sing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it was sick, and the morning of the first show, he was not able to speak. So luckily, also Gabriele did a cool work, because I think he sang some verse here and there. Yes, but it was quite difficult, because in 3 people, these songs are difficult. Also in 4, honestly. So in 3, it's even more difficult. And also because for sure we wrote the stuff together, but I was not ready to sing all lyrics. So it was quite difficult, quite a challenge, but we did it, and it was very, very cool, very interesting.
And these release shows were a bit peculiar, because in one other show in Munich you had to cancel it, but yet you managed to make a show. What exactly did you do, and who came up with that idea?
Honestly, there was some big problems a few hours before the shows with the venue, just because one guy of the venue was not sick, but he was not able to do the sound for the bands, and unfortunately there was no chance to replace him. So but for sure it was only, I think, a couple of hours before the show, so there was already some people outside of the venue. We tried to to share something or on our pages, but for sure for 90% of the people it was too late. So we said, okay, we have to create something cool for these people, because some people did a lot of kilometers just to reach Germany, Munich, also from other countries like Czech Republic, Austria, Switzerland, Netherlands, I think also. So we said, okay, we'll do a sort of listening session, listening party. We will try, we will speak with the people in general, something like that. We will do a sort of signing session. And then we said, but we also can try to sing something. We'll put the music and we'll try to sing. And it was very cool, because I think I sing a couple of tracks with Victorious too, and the other band. The singer Victorious sang a song with us, and then we sang other 2 or 3 tracks as Fallen Century. At the very end of this crazy night, crazy evening, some people asked me to sing I Can Stay, and it was not planned at all. Also because as an acoustic track, we didn't put this track on the set list, but it was very cool because we put a track and I sang on the track, and the people was crazy about that.
And it became more of an intimate show.
Exactly,
as well.
exactly.
Yeah. Now, about your other touring plans, which are they? Where are you going to play? When? And those stuff. And are there any plans to play in Portugal?
Honestly, right now for this year, we have already confirmed some shows with Falling Century, but not a lot, honestly. Only in Netherlands and Belgium. Also because we will be very busy with Temperance and Serenity. So we'll have other tours, other shows to do. Serenity, they are working on the new album, on the upcoming album. So we are quite busy, but next year for sure we'll go on tour. We are working on that right now. So hopefully we'll be on the next spring. Let's see. And about Portugal, right now with Falling Century, nothing planned, but we are talking to come back in Portugal with Temperance. So hopefully we'll be able to manage something very soon, for the next year for sure. But let's see. Hopefully, because when we played there with Taria in Lisbon on March 2020, it was crazy, because basically it was the biggest show of the tour, with almost 2,000 people in Lisbon. Crazy. It was crazy. We played in the big arena, and the reaction was fantastic. So I really can't wait to come back in Portugal.
And I hope to see you here in my little country soon. Now, you already said you've been here in Portugal playing shows before. Is there any fun story that you have that you can share of those shows?
One story, but it's not very funny, honestly, because the way from Italy to reach Portugal is a very long way. So we reached Portugal, and I think just 10 or 20 minutes before to play the show, we received a call from Italy, and some friends of us, some parents, they said, okay guys, I don't know what is the situation in Portugal, but right now in some region of Italy there is the lockdown. And back then it was just the first days of COVID, so we had no clue about this stuff. And we said, okay, we have no clue about what will happen, honestly. And we said probably we have to see what will happen also in Portugal and Spain. And yes, was not very cool, also because we had some thoughts in our mind about the health of our parents, of our friends there. Honestly, at the end, luckily everything was fine. But what else? To see also the good side. The people from Portugal was very kind with us, and basically everyone from that night I already asked several times to come back with some messages, with a great support. And I have good vibes about Portugal also because is a country in the south, like in Italy, and basically we are pretty similar. I think I have good friends of mine there, a band called Glasia, and I did a song with them. And I was in Portugal, in Lisbon, a couple of times the last year. One time just to do some holidays there, and it was very funny, and really I can't wait to come back.
And I hope to see you here, either with Temperance or Fallen Sanctuary or
Sure.
any other of your projects. And now you've been singing in different bands since 2010.
Sure.
If you had to rate on the albums that you sang for or played in during these 12 years, on which place would Terranova be?
Good question, but probably one of the first 2 or 3 albums, because every time I think that the last album you worked is the best album, also because it's still fresh in your mind. And for Terranova, it's quite cool because this is the very first time I had the chance to split the way to write a song and album with another guy. I mean, with Georg. So for sure, this album have a special place in my heart, as Diamanti, the last Temperance album. I think they are in the same position.
They have a special place in your heart.
Yes, exactly.
What about your other bands like Wonders or Temperance? What can we expect from them in the near future?
To be honest, with Temperance, we plan to play tons of shows this and the next year, because we have no chance at all during the last years to promote Diamanti, and also the previous one, Viridian. So we'll go on tour right now in August in UK, in November and December in Europe with Live Size, on February and March double legs with Taria, and then again some headliner shows in Europe. And with Wonders, honestly, it's a different situation because I'm a sort of guest singer in this band. It's not my real band. For sure, I wrote the songs for the first album with the guitarist of the band, but they are working on the second album, and I think, I don't know, probably during the summer I will record the vocals for the album. But I'm quite busy right now, and this is the reason I'm not involved in the songwriting of the second album, but I will record the vocals for sure.
And you have another album coming out this October, I think. It's Virtual Symmetry, right?
Yes, Virtual Symmetry, yeah. And this is a different thing because it's a prog metal band, and the album will be out in September, because we'll do a very long tour with Evergrey over all Europe. Unfortunately, not Portugal, but we'll play in Spain. And yes, it's prog metal. It's quite different, something like Dream Theater, Seven Wonders, something like that. And there I'm the lead singer, and that's it.
And maybe I can talk to you again
sure.
about that release.
Sure, for sure.
All right, Marco, that's it. Thank you so much. Would you like to send any message to your Portuguese fans?
Sure. Thanks for your big and fantastic support. We're still receiving some very good messages and some good vibes from you all, especially about Temperance, honestly. But some of you already heard the new Fallen Century album, So hopefully we'll be able to reach your country quite soon with Falling Century. And I'm pretty sure next year we'll come back with Temperance in Portugal. So stay tuned.
All right, that's it. Thank you so much. It was an honor.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. And